Hey y'all, I'm Mayer Cunningham, the special education boss. If you've ever felt confused, overwhelmed, or just plain frustrated at the 504 IEP table, you are in the right place. Every week, I'm breaking down the rules, the rights, and the realities of special education so you can walk into meetings informed, empowered, and ready to make real change. And whether you're a parent, a teacher, an advocate, a school-based member, or somebody who's just trying to do right by a student, this podcast gives you straight talk, real answers, and tools that you can use immediately. I'm not here to play politics. I'm not here to play sides. I'm here to train people who sit at the table and teach you how to follow the law, ask the right questions, and protect the rights of students. So go ahead and hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change. We're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. Hey guys, welcome back. We are so excited to see you guys. If we haven't met, I'm Mayer Cunningham, special education boss, training everyone. This is the 504 IEP table to navigate and negotiate successful student outcomes. So we are here to answer all of your questions so we can help you be better advocates at the IEP table. So welcome you guys. We're super excited. We have something very exciting coming for you. So this is the Epic IEP. You're going to want to go get this. Go to Amazon. Go buy the Epic IEP, then come back to the epicip.com and put in your information, and it will release $500 worth of bonuses for all of you that pre-order. This is my life's work. This is a powerful playbook for parents, educators, and advocates navigating the IEP process. So go get it, and we will Epic IEP together.
You just look so glowing today.
It's called lighting from TikTok. It's the glowing light from the TikTok shop. TikTok, you don't stop.
It's literally that word. It's 1,000,000% more magnificent.
It's like Massachusetts.
That is the word.
It's like a paddle of light. Like I can't see after I get up, but I'm glad y'all can see. That's all that matters.
Absolutely, that is fantastic. So, I know that you just went ahead and told us about this lovely book, but one of our first questions was, what platform do I get to make sure I have the bonuses?
Yeah, so go to Amazon, go get the book, The Epic IEP, come back to the epicip.com, and it'll tell you on step 2 to put your information in, and it will release the bonuses. You like bonuses, don't you? Yeah.
Do they get to keep the bonuses forever?
Unless they drive them back to my house and bring them back. We will not be resending unless you are bad bonus behaving. BBB.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The first marking period has ended. Should I have received a report card? And if so, do the goals progress reports come out at the same time?
Yeah, so you should receive 2 of things, right? Your grades for your student and then your IEP progress reports. Sometimes school districts now have a portal. I don't know where the portal is. It's in the vortex of the kryptonite or something. So ask the school for a copy of the student's IEP progress reports for the first grading period.
Is the goals progress report, what's that word? Is the goals progress report an actual thing? Mine came home on loose leaf notebook. What?
That's a thing. It's not an actual thing. So I do love a good loose leaf notebook, but they have to be uploaded into the IEP progress report software. So I just email the school and say, can I have a legal copy of the student's IEP progress reports? Somebody just said they'll be transferring, Daphne said she's going to be transferring to WGU for dual licensure in SPED and elementary education. Awesome. My daughter graduated from WGU.
Yay!
I didn't. I think we all know I didn't graduate from any college. I did attend the College of Hard Knocks, though. I feel like I got plenty of credit hours, though.
And I feel like you get plenty of results as well.
How about those?
How about those? I love those. What is the best way to file a discrimination claim against a general education teacher?
So discrimination claims, we're going to go through the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. So I would get somebody to assist you with that. The thing with filing complaints is you get one chance to do it. And if you do it wrong, they're going to kick it out. And so I might look for support to look at the specificity of what the allegation is. If the general ed teachers denied the student accommodations, if they retaliated, those sorts of things would be an Office of Civil Rights complaint.
A neuropsychologist confirmed dyslexia. What would make a district stick to communication impairment instead of dyslexia?
They're banana heads. It's not an eligibility, but it's a behavior. So we don't stick to anything. We find the eligibility that's appropriate based upon formalized testing, but those things are two totally different things.
Okay, there we go. Can I ask for progress goals reports more often than once a quarter?
I mean, you can always ask for updated progress. We want to let the teachers teach. We want that entire grading period to work on that acquisition and that skill, that objective or benchmark. So I think that if you ask for updates in between, you might get a skewed view of what's going on.
What is the difference between raw data collection sheets and a goals progress report?
So the raw data collection sheets are what the evaluator uses every week when they're collecting data. The IEP data collection progress reports are the final document populated that summarizes all of those.
So I have part of this one. I'm going to read it and see if I can find the other part. I go to my son's IEP meeting tomorrow. I'm nervous because I feel my son's speds teacher, so I don't see the rest of it. I'll look for it, but how about some words of encouragement for her?
Yeah, so write down your concerns tonight. Don't think that you're going to remember them. Write them down. Make sure that you have a draft document and you've highlighted it and you've marked it up, but write down your concerns. You will not remember them in the meeting.
Oh, wow. Look at this one. When can you evaluate in Missouri? My district waits until the 3rd grade on teacher referrals.
Oh, Missouri. Come on now. So since we have children in special education at 3, they're probably not 3rd graders. So you can evaluate as early as 2.5. We don't wait till 3rd grade because then it might be too late to intervene at all.
Absolutely. My son is in an OOD placement. Can they try to put him back in his home school?
So OOD is out of district, and so there's a reason that he's out of district. We would need a reintegration plan and then data to support that he'll be successful coming back.
If a kindergartner IEP student is physically hurting the teacher and using beyond foul language, what would you suggest we do?
Have an IEP meeting to look at a more appropriate setting.
If a child has not met their IEP goals in 12 months, what should be done next?
Well, probably before the 12 months, we should have done something, but we have an obligation to reconvene an IEP meeting when kids aren't going to meet their IEP goals and write appropriate goals in light of their circumstances.
When can I pre-order my book, and when do we actually receive it?
You can pre-order it now. It comes out in 2 months, so or 3 months. I'm terrible with math. It comes out in January. 99 days. So the bonuses are only for people that pre-order. So go to Amazon, order the Epic IEP, come back to the epic-iep.com, and then they'll want you to put in your information, and that will unlock your bonuses. You want the bonuses, right?
Yeah. Am I the only one that wants to sing 99 Epic IEPs on the shelf?
Yes, you are, because that would be a tongue twister.
Right? And the other one.
But Rachel will join you.
I'm sure she would. She's always so supportive. Is it legal to have a long-term sub without a SPED credential as the teacher for self-contained classes?
No. No. Would it be legal for somebody that wasn't a pharmacist to dispense you medicine? Would that matter? Would that matter if we just had a sub doing that? Would it matter? I think it matters.
Maybe if they're in a different country, I don't know, say like Mexico.
Cindy.
Well, you could get so much there.
So much, like jewelry. Jewelry.
Yes. The jewelry, ma'am. We need a little pot that says jewelry fund for Mexico. Cruise. If the service provider is a source of trauma and the relationship is broken to the point where the child can't learn, what do I do?
I would just say, reach out to the district, leadership and say, this is not a fit. It's not a benefit for the student, which means it wouldn't be a benefit for the student. I'm sure that if the student is not a fit, then I'm sure that the educators is frustrated as well. We would like to consider a different staff member to deliver this product.
Oh, it came in on the bottom. It said they denied a new service provider.
Okay. So I would want them to provide that denial to me in a prior written notice and populate all of your concerns in there as well.
Where do I go to find an advocate in Houston, Texas? Oh, it jumped.
So I live in Houston, Texas, but we have a team full of advocates. If you're wanting representation, just reach out to us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. We advocate from sea to shining sea.
What do I do when my son is being scored at a 4, sometimes a 5, and the only one teacher scores him at an 8?
I would just ask for, why do you think there's such a range of numbers when evaluating him?
OOD placement. He has trauma from the homeschool. What can I do to fight that right now?
To fight trauma from the homeschool?
They want to put him back into his homeschool from the out-of-district placement. What can she do to fight not going back there?
Yeah, so you're probably not an out-of-district placement because of trauma. You're probably an out-of-district placement because of the student's behavior. And so I would ask the opposite question. What is the school going to do to guarantee that that doesn't occur again?
What can parents do if their child's new FIE is overdue for reevaluation?
Well, I would ask the district, when do they plan on becoming compliant in his evaluation so that we can get the updated information we need?
What do I do if the teacher has no structure for teaching but is trying to become a principal?
Let me think about my answer for a moment. You have to have, be able to manage the class, right? You'd be the best teacher in the world, but that comes with managing the class. So I would reach out to leadership and see if we can get a district assist for that educator.
I love classroom management. Are you familiar with ABA laws and policies?
ABA laws? I don't know about ABA laws. I'm very familiar with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and then ADA.
Data requires us to have 6 weeks. Is this correct?
6 weeks for what?
Good question. It's Xavier if it comes in on the bottom.
Yeah, and just so people, we work in every state. We do meetings back to back to back. All of our meetings are virtual. We follow the administrative hearing schedule in the state. And so we have been virtual since March 13th, 2020. For the pandemic, that's 5.5 years. The best way to have an IEP meeting is remote. That way you can, go get snacks in between. You can screen share. You can take a break with your client. Thanks, you guys, for all the gifts. And yes, the book, go get the Epic IEP. Go to Amazon, order the Epic IEP now. It comes out in 99 days. And so for pre-orders, we have $500 worth of bonuses. You just come back to theepiciep.com and put in your information. It will release the bonuses.
Wait, we as parents can have information recorded in a PWN given to us from the school district?
Well, yeah, the school district should capture what occurred in the meeting in the PWN.
What is a good age for a child to get tested for gifted?
I don't know what a good age is to be tested for gifted. I guess whenever you want gifted services considered at the school district.
Several people said thank you. They will reach out.
Reach out.
Touch. Can Florida middle school teachers enter zeros for grades when out on medical leave for 504 students?
Are these trick questions?
Unfortunately, no.
I mean, can we? I guess we can anything. I think the question is, should we? So.
I've requested during an IEP to test my son for dyslexia or ADHD and told test schools will not test.
No, that's not true. Is it a school in America? Is it a state that receives federal funds? We will test. And we will have that response that you will not test in a prior written notice by close of business, meeting all 7 federal obligations. Oh, it's in California. Well, there you go.
They have that fence.
Well, they have the water, right? I live by the water. People that live by the water, sometimes we get confused.
What do I do if ancillary staff never does their job and after complaining to SPED, nothing's done?
So electives, right? Ancillary teachers, when you say they never do their job, I'm going to assume that you mean they don't implement the 504 IEP. Part of that might be that they don't have a copy of it. So when we pull records for due process hearings, one of the first things that we recognize is the teacher bundle that goes out at the beginning of the year goes out to core teachers. So that might be part of the problem, but I would certainly request an IEP meeting.
I'm not sure what this one says, but I'm going to do my best. Where do I contact for iron backup?
Iron backup?
Yes, iron, like as in the 4-letter word that I don't do, backup.
I don't know what you mean by iron backup.
Okay, so that one's coming in from Mean Girls 510, just in case.
Okay.
If a parent is requesting a school transfer, does the district have to provide SPED transportation?
Well, so there's 2 different questions. If the parent's requesting a transfer because of programming, because that's where the program is, then no. If the parent's requesting a transfer, then they take on the obligation of transportation.
Can a SPED teacher give you a D+ in class just because the child does not brush their teeth?
Wow. I hope not. I didn't know that brushing your teeth was a content area or a state standard.
If it was, Mikey would have failed for years.
Yeah.
What is the max time speech therapy that a child can receive in a school in Texas?
There's no max time. We just had a IEP meeting and the district has to provide compensatory time. So there's no max time. We're always looking at what's appropriate delivery though.
If we read the book, The Epic IEP, would it answer a lot of these questions that are coming in?
I would imagine it would. So many questions. It's 57,000 words, which is like, 10 minutes of me talking. So it's great. It's going to give you the 7 prongs that we build IEPs on. The exact same way that we do it at the end of every chapter. There's questions for parents, questions for advocates, questions for educators. So it's ridiculously amazing. You're going to love it. Go to Amazon, order it, come back to the epic-iep.com, and then put in your information, and then that will unlock the bonuses. You like bonuses, don't you?
Yes. And order some tissues because some of these stories are so heartfelt and it's spectacular. Okay. How do I ask for my son to be retested for years after being denied an IEP?
Yeah, so a formal request, hey, dear staff, this is my formal request for my student to be tested for special education related services, areas of suspected disability are attention, behavior, communication, learning. We look forward to coming in and signing notice and consent.
Where do I go to get more training on demand?
So you can join the EPIC Special Education Academy. The EPIC IEP Special Education Academy is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central. It is a community where we train every Monday night on the federal law, the letter of the law, the application of the law, and then mostly important, we open it up for questions so that whatever's going on right now, we can get addressed for you. You can go to specialeducationacademy.com.
Yay or nay? Displaced general education teacher covering a long-term deaf student.
Well, yay, if you're the general ed teacher. Nay, if you're providing DHH itinerant deaf and hard of hearing services.
My son's private school is willing to use his IEP, but the school does not want to.
Yeah, there's no obligation of a private school to deliver FAPE, free appropriate public education, as they don't take funds for that.
In Missouri, is it required that we have to have a diagnosis for a teacher referral due to behavior?
Is that a requirement in Missouri?
Yes, that they have to have a diagnosis for a teacher to refer due to behavior.
Well, then that would be a violation of child find. So child find is really simple. It says the district has an obligation to ILE, identify, locate, and evaluate children with suspected disabilities who may be in need of special education and related services. Didn't say nothing about getting no diagnosis up in him. Heavy on the him, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Ooh, it jumped. Just so you know, when it jumps, that means there's so many questions.
That means that you jump?
Yes, I jump, you jump, they jump. How young can a child be tested? Well, I think we have this question several times.
2.5. 2.5 years old.
Absolutely. I have an IEP meeting next month, and how do I prepare for this meeting?
I would get a full draft copy of the IEP document, knowing that it's just a draft. Without that draft ahead of time, it's unlikely you'd be able to make an informed decision. You might have to reschedule. So get that draft ahead of time, underline, highlight all of your questions, get the last 36 instructional weeks IEP progress reports, and get the last full evaluation so that you know that what you're looking at, so that you can help support the team as we write an EPIC IEP. So yeah, if you want the book, go to Amazon, buy the EPICIEP.com, or no, go to Amazon and buy the EPIC IEP, and then come back to the EPICIEP.com, put in your information from where you ordered it, and it will release $500 worth of bonuses.
My daughter and nurse are being attacked by a student in an adaptive room. I'm really worried. Can I please request a homebound for my kid?
So I don't know that I would request homebound, but I would let the school district to know it's not a safe environment for students and staff immediately. So somebody asked, I'm so sorry, somebody asked just real quick, what do I include in my parents' letter? So, dear staff, this is my formal request for my student to be tested for special education related services. Areas of suspected disability are learning, behavior, emotional issues. We look forward to coming in and signing notice and consent. That's it. And then you hit send. But you have to make that noise when you hit send. Otherwise, it's not legal without the noise.
No, we wouldn't want to do that verbally, right? We want it in writing.
In writing.
Would that be in the EPIC IEP book?
It is in the EPIC IEP Playbook.
Playbook. Can you request art education for a child with an IEP? They often need it mostly, but never included.
So I think that what you're talking about, art education, is a therapy model. So that's not a requirement under IDEA. But you can certainly, you can ask for anything, right? You can ask for, hair color therapy. I don't think they have that at school, but they should in Texas. It should be a state standard.
In a read or an IEP meeting, is it possible to request them to explain in layman's term versus their lingo?
Yeah, I would say we're going to have to put a pin in this. I need you to explain it in a way that I can understand.
Someone said, sorry, I joined late. What did you mean by life by the water in California?
Oh, I live by the water, and I grew up by the water, and people by the water were just a unique combination of people.
Let's see. Counselor said it is still in compliance by not following the doctor's recommendation because of the school's capability.
What? So, yeah, here's the good news. Let's stop worrying about compliance and let's start doing what's right for kids. We're so busy thinking we're compliant, we're handicapping children. So if there's an educational need, let's sit down and talk about that need and how we can address it.
Suggestions. Student is aggressive towards the staff, has an FBA and a BIP being conducted. Parents refused a half day. How far in advance can a parent request to review the data and draft for the triennial IEP?
So would never agree to half day for behavior. The student needs the instructional day, whatever their educational need is. You can ask for the draft as early as possible. I mean, if we can have it a few days ahead of time, that will give me the opportunity to prepare.
How does an IEP work in a private school?
It doesn't. There's no individualized education programs in private schools. They often write a plan, but it's not the same thing as what's required under IDEA.
Not sure about this one. In Michigan, are ABA facilities allowed to provide written incident reports?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't be allowed to provide written reports. That's what teachers do. They report and they share.
How does a parent stop an elementary school from a 5-person restraint?
Get the student in a more appropriate setting for their behavioral needs.
If a school recommends that you send your child to an ABA clinic instead of coming to school, can they?
Let me just address that. ABA clinics are not a public school, so there's that. And ABA clinics are not charged with doing state standards. They do ABA.
Let's see. A lot of the questions that are coming in are too long, and then I don't have the second part. Perhaps they could send a question in using the orange box with the arrow.
Yeah, there's an orange box at one of the bottom areas. If you have a longer question, just send it in there, and then we will answer those at a separate time.
Do you get worried with all the questions about IEPs when they've been around since 2008?
Do you get worried about them? No, I'm not worried. I'm worry-free. This is the worry-free zone.
Well, yes, because you have the Epic IEP book. That gives you...
I have the Epic IEP book, which is really, I mean, it's what we need.
Yes. If I could break in and get it, I would. I'm waiting the 99 days.
99 at midnight, it'll be 98.
Woo! What is the max amount of SPED children that can push out into a general education classroom throughout the day?
1 billion. 1 billion. Yeah, there's not a maximum amount of disabled children that can be included.
Is it true that in an inclusion setting, a SPED teacher is also responsible for Title I kiddos?
I'm not really sure what the question is. So sometimes the whole district is their Title I kiddos. So
that's what was in my brain as well. I have an IEP meeting next month. What did you tell the other person to do to prepare for their meeting so I can do it too?
Yeah, so you need a copy of the last 36 instructional weeks IEP progress reports. You need a copy of the full draft IEP document. Without that draft, it's unlikely that you'll be able to make an informed decision. You might have to reschedule. I would want the last FIE, and I would want a copy of his last annual IEP. And I would write down questions. An IEP is like going into the grocery store when you're hungry. You leave with $400 worth of groceries, and the one thing that you needed, you didn't get. So I rarely see parents come in with a single thing written on a piece of paper. Am I in Florida? I'm not in Florida. Cindy's in Florida. Rachel's in Georgia. Stephanie's in Texas. And I'm here by the water.
Can a school declassify a student without formal evaluation or testing and instead based other class-wide data?
Well, good news, we're not the FBI or the CIA, so we don't declassify anybody. So the student is either eligible or they're not eligible based on data. I feel like it's a beautiful mind. But once you get the Epic IEP, you too will have a beautiful mind.
And it's a beautiful lighting there, too.
You really like the new lighting, the paddle of light? Do you like it, Rachel? Do you like it, Stephanie? Can I get a thumbs up? Yes, a manual thumbs up. Okay, there we go.
You can see all the different color blondes and everything. It's just gorgeous.
There are different colors. Thank you for noticing that.
Yes, I love it.
And it was Blowout Monday. So who's mad about that? No one.
It's a great day when it's a Blowout Monday.
Yeah.
In high school, counselors, can they deny or reduce accommodations, citing reduced ones in college and work?
Nobody can reduce your 504 plan or your IEP without a meeting.
What if a parent disagrees with the approved district-wide curriculum and proposes their own?
Tough. That's what I tell them. No, that the curriculum is provided by vendors to the state. Each district can choose from that list of vendors. And so unless they're not from the list from the state, that's what the district is going to implement.
What do I do when the teacher doesn't implement accommodations even after administration is aware?
So has administration spoken to the teacher? Have you spoken to the teacher? If both of those things have happened, then I would file a federal complaint with the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights.
What do you do if your school is not providing the hours listed in the IEP?
I would ask them to, when should we expect the IEP to be implemented as codified? And we would be requesting a compensatory package to remediate that loss.
How often do I ask for data so I don't look like a pain?
I don't know that I would be asking for data at all. You're getting IEP progress reports at the end of every grading period. If there's something you need with more specificity, like graded work, which we always ask for, work samples, I might ask for that.
Can they change placement without providing data for the change?
Well, I hope we don't make a single decision without doing it on data, but all decisions are made at IEP meeting. So several people are asking if they can get an advocate in certain states. All of our advocates advocate nationally. So all of our advocates, all of our meetings are virtual. So I don't know, this week I was in New Jersey and Florida and Connecticut and the great California tomorrow. So we just do back-to-back IEP meetings, so they are all remote. Our clients are remote.
When a student is in out-of-district placement, which school is responsible for the 3-year reeval?
The home camp district is always the district. So I'm going to just say something really quickly. I'm just gonna jump in line. Are you guys listening? Everybody listening? Okay. So this is the U.S. Department of Education organizational chart. You guys see that? Give me a thumbs up if you see that. Okay. So this is a department. It oversees 13 offices. The offices are not going anywhere. So the department didn't start till 1981, and departments move and change names all the time. But the department houses 13 offices. There are 13 educational offices that are currently housed in the U.S. Department of Education. So those offices, if for some reason there would be no DOE, would be in another, thank you, Nancy, would be overseen by another office.
What should I do if my child's ABA teacher is not certified in special education?
The child's ADA teacher, what did you say?
ABA?
ABA is not a requirement under IDEA.
How did you become an advocate?
Baptism by fire. So I sent my cherub across the street in the mid-90s when I was young and still had a thyroid. And I thought that everything would go great across the street. And it did not go great, and had a couple of big hiccups the first 6 months. And then I started reading this law and connecting with the state education agency. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. We got this great law and this great need, and we'll just connect them and everything will be perfect. And that's how I started advocating, and I started representing families.
What is your biggest piece of advice for a new special education teacher?
My biggest piece of advice is not to remember your why, but remember your who. And the who is those sweet babies that need your special education. And, you know, when you come to a meeting, just have your information written down. And thank you for serving kiddos. You have changed our children's lives.
What goals do you recommend for a child who struggles emotionally with transitions?
Get rid of transition. I'm just kidding. No. So one of the things that we teach is how we start out an IEP meeting, and we sit down and go over the schedule. I think if you just sat down and went over the schedule before you start the IEP meetings, you would realize how many stinking transitions Billy has. I had a kiddo the other day, he had 14 transitions in the day. I don't want 14 transitions as an adult. Can you imagine if 14 times when you were at work, somebody came and said, oh, now move over here. Now move over here. So know that moving a child interrupts progress. So that would be my first thing. And second, I would find out, why is he struggling with transition? Maybe he needs to go early. Maybe he needs to go after everybody else has gone. Maybe he wasn't done working on the thing that he was working on. So give him a timer. Let him know that, it's about to end. And so there's lots of things that, often we address the output, but for every output, there's an input. So what is the reason that he's struggling with transition? Struggle is what you see. What are we going to do to remediate it?
So this one goes back to the mom who asked about her son getting a D+ because he won't brush his teeth. She wants to know, how do I fight this?
Well, brushing your teeth is not a state standard in any public school in America. If it was, we'd have a lot of junior high kids in trouble. Some days I don't brush my teeth. I forget, right? So he probably doesn't have a brushing your teeth goal. And so not brushing your teeth is not a disciplinary action. That would be very concerning for me.
How about Axe body spray? Can we have one for that?
I love Axe body spray. It's like just a sea of Fabuloso in junior high, isn't it? Phoenix or Apollo? You tell me.
No data or documentation is available for the entire IEP year or for goals for my child. What can I do about this?
Oh, I would ask for compensatory time. Since we have no data, it must not have occurred. So that would be a problem for the school district. Yes, Phoenix. If you've ever had teenage boys, and I've had 2 of them, when they wanted to switch from Apollo to Phoenix, I'm like, they both stink. Anyway.
Is there going to be a follow-up to the EPIC IEP?
Oh my goodness. So giving birth to a book is like giving birth to, I think, octuplets. But yes, there's a book coming out. There'll be a companion to that the following month. And we will talk about that after we give birth to this book.
That is fantastic. What do you do when the student is placed in general education class but belongs in a behavior program?
You would call an IEP meeting and say, I appreciate placing him here, but it is impeding his learning and the learning of others. Somebody said middle school teacher and boy mom. Oh, yes. Wow. A middle school teacher, it doesn't even matter. You can't even put one of those little, candles that are wax, Scentsy. You can't have a Scentsy to override that Axe body. They love that Axe body. I don't know who did the marketing for Axe body spray, but it basically is, Lysol cleanup wipes.
Like dude wipes.
Dude wipes. Yes, I have dude wipes. Rachel probably doesn't even know what that is. Those are impressive. Look, Stephanie's nodding. Rachel, we're going to need you to Google that.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And if you have a smelly boy like Mikey, you need them in your car.
Or a smelly husband as well.
Truth.
Yeah.
At least the husband can take care of it himself. Our SPED team demands 6 to 8 weeks of data before SPED evaluations. Is that right?
It's criminal. There's no demand. The law says that we evaluate children with suspected disabilities. It doesn't say demand. It doesn't say 6 weeks, 9 weeks, a doctor's note, a pigeon flying over the school. It doesn't say any of that. We evaluate children with suspected disabilities. See, the federal law gave you great liberty. Your school district is adding to the law, thus violating it.
SPED teacher here. To be sure, can a case manager give parents an IEP if the PLAF isn't completed by all?
I mean, they can give it to them, right? When I get into meetings or one of my partners gets into meetings, we often have present levels of academic achievement and functional performance populated by a few people. Who needs to populate the PLAF? Say it with me. Everybody that provides a student an educational product. So if you provide him an educational product, your input needs to exist in the PLAF.
If a student is pulled out of school on their OT days Is the OT expected to rearrange their schedule?
Nope, 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 nope.
Are you sure it's a no?
Nope.
Okay, got it.
Yes, I'm sure that it's a no. Yes, I'm sure that it's a no. No. So, I always tell parents, we wrote an IEP. We wrote an epic IEP, right? When you start to pull your kids out from the instructional day, you cannot be upset that there was not faith delivered. And that just is the truth.
What is the difference between an inclusion helper and a para-educator?
An inclusion helper would be somebody that's employed by the district and they are a staff member. Like I'd be a helper, like I'd give you snacks, help you find your hairspray and your back comb, but I am not a paraprofessional. I cannot support instruction.
My child has ADHD. He struggles with transitions between activities at school. Any advice on where to start?
Yeah, I mean, if he struggles with transition, I would ask for an FBA, a functional behavior assessment, so we can determine the hypothesized function of that and then work on goals to remediate it.
Parents want to do all communication via email and does not want to come in person. Legal?
When you say they don't want to come in person, you mean to an IEP meeting? So they're not required to come in person for communication. They would need to attend the IEP meetings. I like communication via email for a minute, but I'm not a typer, I'm a talker. So it'd be much easier for me to jump on, a Zoom with Principal Modern and let me share my concerns than me trying to type it out. I argue with Grammarly every day and I pay for Grammarly. So when people send me a message and it's 3 questions, you know what I call that? A phone call. So if your email has 1 question, then that's an email. If you have several questions, then you pick up the phone or jump on a Zoom.
Okay. Suggestion: student that is aggressive towards. Oh no, that was a duplicate question. A SPED teacher here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with others. Many do not know the law, and you make us validated.
Oh, thank you guys for serving kiddos. I love what I do. I love the love. I love they're not even haters. They're just uninformers. But if you have to hate me to go look and find the law, that's fine. The law hasn't changed. We have to support kids at an appropriate level. And we have to be a team that serves at the highest level.
School refuses to reprimand teachers who continuously disregard and refuse to follow a 504. Help!
Yeah, so I don't know if it's about reprimanding them. It's about your friends at the Office of Civil Rights will help you reprimand them. And if you need help filing a robust complaint, our partners are amazing. So just email us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. We know how to write a complaint that gets open, substantiated, and then has a corrective action plan for the district.
I'm not sure if there's more to this question. Let me ask.
Is it about hair color?
It is not.
Oh, man.
I'm sure everybody loved it.
Yeah.
What personal insurance should a SPED teacher have?
I mean, you don't need personal insurance.
Okay. They're requesting a placement change, but will not provide data showing the lack of success in the current plan.
Well, we don't have a meeting without data. I would say, dear Buttercup, we will all need to have data so that the committee can see it and we can discuss it and make an informed decision. Let me know a good day to reschedule when the school will be able to present that data.
I am a SPED para, and one of the teachers refuses to split up the kids I work with. Thoughts?
So when you say split up the kids, I'm going to assume that if we don't, it's hard to implement their IEPs. So, we have to do what's appropriate for kiddos to learn. The whole point of special education is acquisition of knowledge, not just to cram them all in a room and check off we got through October 20th, 2025.
Independent Study School refuses to provide my daughter with accommodations at home. Thoughts?
A school doesn't provide accommodations at your house, so I'm not sure I understand that correctly. Is she homebound? Is that what you mean? Probably need And listen, if you guys have a longer question, if you want to put them in the little orange box, I don't know where it is because orange doesn't match my undertones, but it's somewhere they tell me.
Somebody wants to know, can you get them out of a special education class?
Can I get them out of a special education class?
Yes.
Are they a child with a disability?
I am thinking they are.
Yeah, so we make decisions about how you receive your education. First of all students are general ed students, and some of them receive services in a special ed setting. So, we certainly want to go to the table and make sure we're looking at the totality of the data so we can make informed decisions about what would be the best placement for you.
My son has autism and anxiety. He's eloping and having long episodes lasting 45 minutes or more of holding his neck, and he's screaming. Should he have a one-to-one? What do I do?
If he's having that much physical response, I would first take him to the doctor and see if there's something going on with him neurologically or physically. Again, a one-to-one doesn't stop any of those things, right? So very reticent on offering a one-to-one for any kiddo. So, we need to find out what is the function of the behavior. And then based upon that, we would write a plan to serve him. If they need extra support at certain times, certainly. But it's very rare, ever, that I would find a kiddo that needs a one-to-one all day. If you need a one-to-one, it's probably because you're an endanger to yourself or others. And then I would look at if we have the right placement.
What are the best forms to use for documentation?
Paper, a Google Doc. I don't even know what a Google Doc is. I just wanted to say that. A Post-it note, a cocktail napkin, a paper plate, the back of your arm. It doesn't really matter. You need to record the information while you're working on the IEP goal, and then have a mechanism to transfer it into the software.
How do you feel about grade level goals?
No such thing. No such thing. So if we write an IEP goal, it's a special education goal. It's not a grade level goal, right? So the goal would be academic. The goal would be behavior, emotional, functional, communicative, all those things, but it's not a grade level goal. So we have an identified deficit in reading, writing, and math. That's what the goal would be about. It wouldn't be about grade level. That's a good question.
What is considered interference, coercion, and intimidation when addressing ADA?
What's considered those things?
Yes.
So that's outlined under the Americans with Disabilities Act website. So it's a very large website. So you would read their quantifiers. Additionally, they have webinars that they offer that you can just email them and they will provide you the link to give you some more specificity around what those are. Sometimes the language in ADA or OCR is very general. So the language in OCR says that you can file if you believe your child's been discriminated based on disability. Well, that's a pretty big umbrella. But when you really get in there, there's only certain things that OCR opens under disability. There are things that the state opens under disability. So it's very important that when you file, you understand that office's scope, which might be why it would be important to invest at least in a review of your documents with a professional advocate, and we have a whole team of them. You can just email us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com.
Does my child qualify for curb to curb if they offered it before we moved to a low-income school?
So I think when you say curb to curb, you're talking about special education, transportation. So special education transportation is a related service under IDEA. So that related service didn't go away because you moved to a different campus.
Can special education administration stop, quote unquote, or pause, quote unquote, MTSS and testing?
I don't know what they can do. MTSS, SST, RTI was supposed to just happen for a minute. It wasn't supposed to happen for weeks and weeks and weeks and years. But that is a mechanism that general ed teachers have without the permission and granting of the king of the school. I grant RTI. Yeah, so no.
If a student was in the process of changing federal settings, possibly eligibilities, but the teacher quit, now what?
Well, the teacher quitting doesn't have any bearing on determining an eligibility or an exceptionality.
Do you think a child out of resource will help them improve reading and math in general education?
So I think that we should educate students based on their current levels. I think that we're very dishonest to ourselves about what a child's current level is. I think that we're very dishonest to ourselves about if that's going to change over time. I don't see children closing the gap. Schools don't close gaps. If there is a gap and the student is several years behind academically, then we need to have a conversation about resource. If we believe that the student can sit in a general ed class at the pace of which it goes and then pivot and produce work product on a different level, then that's a conversation that we should have. But, one of the biggest tragedies of the last 5 years is we've told schools in America that we got rid of resource, which is a lie. You might want to call it something else. I like to be specific. It's a lie. So resource is under the federal law 300.115. So if there is no resource at your school, you have been a witness to a crime.
As a mom with a child with an IEP, I'm scared for all the changes. What should I do now?
I don't know what you're scared for all the changes are. So special education isn't going anywhere. So kind of just a refresher. This is a refresher. If you're interested in hiring myself or any of our partners, just email us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. So this is what we train on in the mastermind. So this is the U.S. Department of Education Office of Organizational Charts. You could go right now to the interweb and type that in. The U.S. Department of Education Organizational Charts. So the U.S. Department of Education is a department. It oversees 13 offices. It oversees offices. There's 13 educational offices that it oversees. Everything from higher education to Office of Civil Rights, IDEA. The offices aren't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So the offices will, if there's no longer a Department of Education to house them, then they will go to HHS. They will go to DOJ. They will go to another entity. So I think there's so much fear-mongering in the news, all directions. And it's unfortunate because special ed parents don't need anything else to worry about. But special education is a federal act. The Americans with Disabilities Act is a federal act. The Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is an act. They are not a department.
Okay. Are there protections while the student is in the evaluation period?
Protections as in the protections that are included in IEP? Unfortunately, no. So if your child has acute behavior needs and they don't have an IEP, we don't have those protections that would exist in an IEP. However, the district could place you in special ed if they had enough data to support that.
My daughter is in 4th grade, AUDHD, raging meltdowns, home high masking school. Can I advocate for a different school?
I don't know that I would advocate for a different school. I would advocate for an appropriate program, right? So schools are full of people. People are amazing. But the program, the instruction, the remediation, the intervention that we deliver her is what will bring change. So I would ask for a look at appropriate programming.
How do I get my school that went to full inclusive, but my child doesn't qualify for self-contained to get him the help he needs?
Well, he would need resource, right? So same thing I was talking about. So 300.115, just type in ECFR, Electronic Code of Federal Regulations, and type in 34 CFR 300.115. And lo and behold, there it is on a little pillow resource. And I would take that to your escuela and say, let's look at this and program appropriately for my daughter.
What color is the pillow?
I mean, you're going to want to go with a red velvet. That's always the most impactful pillow to bring to a meeting.
Yeah.
That's what Rachel brings. It's the only time that she, breaks with the purple. The red crushed velvet pillow. You can get them at the home, etc. place, all those home places.
Can you please explain raw data again?
Sure. So raw data is the data that you're taking weekly on those IEP goals. And then you would populate all those raw data collection sheets. You would average them, however you're going to calculate them, and you would populate them into the software that houses the IEP progress reports. And so for those of you asking about the book is the Epic IEP. So this is my life's work. It's a powerful playbook for educators, advocates, and parents sitting at the IEP table. Go to Amazon, pre-order the book, and then when you come back to the epiciep.com and put in your information, it will release $500 worth of free bonuses.
Yay! Is a paraprofessional aide permitted to administer Title I remediation to identified students?
That is a lot of words. So instruction comes from educators. Initial instruction comes from educators. So when I hear the word remediate, I probably need a little more clarity around that. But paraprofessionals, which are the lifeblood of special education and general education, are support staff. So let's look at, this is a great document from the Texas Education Agency. You can go get a copy of it, Working with Paraprofessionals. And let's look on page 7, shall we? Non-negotiables. Paraprofessionals may not engage in, and I'm just going to give you one of the 9 listed here. They may not be responsible for any IEP-related responsibilities without the supervision of a certified special educator. So the law actually says direct supervision in quotes, and then NCLB or ESSA, No Child Left Behind, or Every Student Succeeds Act, then expands on what is direct supervision. And the third qualifier for direct supervision to be met is close and frequent proximity to the teacher. Direct supervision, close and frequent proximity. So when you're in another room, you're not meeting that standard.
Why is it called a 504?
Because it is. I don't know. I guess because Breaker 19 was taken. So a 504 is a document for kiddos in school. So you have to realize the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 was for all individuals in America who are identified with a disability. They were not solely in public schools. So the Rehabilitation Act is appropriate if you're an adult with a disability and you're 40 years old and you work at JCPenney. You can't be denied accommodations based on your known disability. And so as it exists in a school, they call them 504 plans.
Should IEP goals be written on grade level?
So IEP goals should be written on the student's need.
Yes. Can a school deny students access to their classroom for the day if the school is MAP testing?
I love how you make up these questions, Cindy, but okay, we'll go with that. I guess if the MAP testing is in the gym or it's in the parking lot, I guess. What? Yeah.
Do 504 students get compensatory time or only IEP students?
So there's no time delivered to a 504 student. That's why I recommend everybody be on IEP. There isn't any time in a 504. It's a plan with accommodations.
So you prefer an IEP?
You know what I prefer? I prefer an EPIC IEP. I prefer the EPIC IEP. I don't think I'll be writing the EPIC 504 anytime soon. It'll be a little tiny book. It'll be like 4 pieces of paper that says, come over to the IEP.
A student was placed in self-contained with no IEP. He's never had one. Is that legal?
Nope. Self-contained is a special ed setting, and you cannot be in a special ed setting without documentation that says you require that.
Can distraction be listed as a response strategy in a BIP for a student with attention function?
Well, I don't know how distraction would be a strategy. That would be a characteristic of his disability. Sort of like when Stephanie's desk just started floating to the ceiling. I thought she was shrinking to the ground. So I was distracted, but then I realized that, oh my gosh, why do we have to put these little puzzle pieces? Oh, because we're to 25,000 people on the, once you're at 25,000 people, they want to know that I haven't broken in and taken care of Mayer Cunningham's Android phone.
Okay. It is 7:45 or 6:45 your time. How many questions would you like?
3 more. 3 good ones. Good uns. 3 good uns.
They're really good. Autistic daughter has huge behaviors at home, not school recommendations. I don't understand that.
So sometimes we have kiddos that the acuity of their disability presents in one location and it doesn't present in the other. And again, we're looking at an educational need. If those behaviors don't present at school, there's no requirement for the district to intervene.
Son has received RTI for 2 years with little progress.
I
know.
Oh my, that hurts my feelings. RTI, it's for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. It's for a minute. Not for years, not for semesters, for a minute.
Should the school conduct an evaluation?
Oh, you should call me. Call me. Yeah, they need to conduct an evaluation immediately.
And here is one with a lot of letters. Can a TSHH provide speech services without under direction of an SLP license?
TSHH. The speech. So can an intern provide services on any related services? Almost always in the state. But they need to be overseeing the instruction at some point, not just the paperwork. Supervising paperwork does not meet any federal threshold. So good call tonight. We had 26.6 thousand people that were listening to our great questions. So listen, you guys, go get the Epic IEP. If you don't need it, go get it and give it to somebody that needs it. For a tiny investment, they can have the same processes and protocols and pathways that we use all the time to build amazing Epic IEPs for our families. We love you. Remember, when you get it right for the child, you get it right for everybody. We'll see you guys in the next training. Hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change, we're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody.